top of the morning to you. Good morning and welcome to ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. I am Iri Hayomikunle Eke. Let's start with the headlines. Diaspora inflow hits $600 million monthly, projected to reach $1 billion in 2026. Nigeria supplies over 70% of South Africa's oil consumption. The federal government increases the cost of a passport by 100%. We're back on the news this morning, starting from Nigerian Immigration Services. Nigerian passport applicants will now pay a 100% increase in fees, with the new rates set to take effect from the 1st of September 2025. This was announced in a statement released yesterday by the spokesman of the Nigerian Immigration Service, A.S. Akinlabi, who said the review is aimed at safeguarding the quality and integrity of the Nigerian standard passport under the new fee structure for applications made within Nigeria. The statement further says the 32-page passport for 5 years validity will now cost 100,000 naira, up from 50,000 naira. The 64-page passport for 10 years validity will now cost 200,000, up from 100,000 naira. However, applications by Nigerians in the diaspora remain unchanged at $150 for the 32-page passport and $230 for the 64-page booklet. This development comes just a year after the federal government last reviewed passport fees in 2024, when the cost rose by about 42.86%. The Nigerian Immigration Service has now reassured applicants of its commitment to deliver quality services while acknowledging the concerns over affordability for ordinary Nigerians. Let's talk about a global related story, as Nigeria has just been ranked a 116th in the 2025 edition of the Chandler Good Government Index, a global benchmark that measured the effectiveness and capability of national government. This report further revealed Nigeria's struggle across key governance indicators and its failure to feature among the top 5 African countries. The Chandler Good Government Index assesses countries based on 7 broad pillars, and Nigeria's performance reviews deep structural governance with challenges. Now let's look at what the report of the CGGI says about Nigeria. The country is placed on 110th in the leadership and foresight, 112 in robust law and policies, and 114th in the strong institutions, and 89th in financial stewardship, and 114th in attractive marketplace, and 112 in global influence and reputation, and 120 in helping people rise. Despite a relatively better standing in financial stewardship, Nigeria's low scores in other areas illustrate the task facing policymakers in improving governance and strengthening public institutions. Bringing you the latest in the world of business now, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has significantly reduced Nigeria's reliance on imported petrol, saying the country is up to $10 billion in foreign exchange annually, while also boosting fuel markets in West and Central Africa with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. Meanwhile, its exports have expanded to include West and Central African nations as well as global markets like the United States, US, and Saudi Arabia. The refinery now produces and exports diesel, gas oil, and jet fuel, fueling both local and international demand and reshaping trade flows. With a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, the refinery has quickly made its mark in the West African region, particularly in Nigeria's petroleum industry, which for decades has struggled with the absence of a fully functional domestic refinery. As Nigeria supplies over 70%, over 70% of South Africa's oil consumption, Bobby Moore, the acting High Commissioner and Consul General of the Republic of South Africa, has disclosed that its country imports more than 70% of its oil from Nigeria. The Commissioner said this while speaking at the Outward Selling Mission program in Lagos State. Moore said Nigeria leverages South Africa's strategic geographic location as they opt to distribute oil and other products across the Southern African region, including Botswana, Mozambique, and Lesotho. According to Bobby Moore, it said the event aim is to make sure the economic ties resuscitate existing markets and explore new areas of collaboration. Mr. Moore also emphasized that beyond oil, there are wide-ranging opportunities for cooperation, including road rehabilitation, housing construction, and technology exchange. But back to business news, Aliko Dangote is now sealed a $2.5 billion partnership with the Ethiopian government to build one of the world's largest single-site fertilizer plant in Gode, Somali regional state. The landmark deal was signed yesterday between Dangote Group and Ethiopian Investment Holdings, which is the government's strategic investment arm. Under the agreement, Dangote Group will now hold 60% equity, while Ethiopia will retain 40%. Ethiopian government in its statement explained that the facility would rank among the world's top 5 largest urea production complexes with a combined capacity of up to 3 million metric tons per annum. Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Dr. Brooke Tai said, "This landmark agreement with Dangote Group marks a significant milestone in Ethiopia's journey toward industrial self-sufficiency and agricultural modernization. As the strategic investment arm of the government of Ethiopia, Ethiopia is proud to secure a 40% stake in what will be one of the world's largest urea production facilities." Thank you so much for joining us. If you are just joining us this morning, welcome to ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. Elsewhere now, goods clearing activities at Nigeria's seaport have been paused on a large scale in the past 2 weeks, leaving over 5,000 cargoes trapped. The port users claim to have lost an estimated 2 trillion naira in demurrage. The persistent disruption of port activities is caused by the persistent network glitches on the Nigerian Customs Service Bodogo digital platform, which has left manufacturers and other merchants to incur a huge loss. Coupled with the reintroduction of the 4% free on board, the effective cost of clearing manufacturers have lamented has risen by about 200%. They are also worried that much of the struck raw materials may not be useful when they are eventually released. Let's move on to the figures about this new story. A 40-foot container attracts a daily demurrage of between 120,000 and 140,000 naira, while a 20-foot container costs about 80,000 naira daily. Also, demurrage for a car is 10,000 naira, while a truck attracts 35,000 naira. A caterpillar is charged 45,000 naira demurrage. This increased after the initial grace period. However, findings suggested that an estimated 5,000 import containers are trapped at Apapa, at Tinkan, and PTML, all in Lagos State, following the network glitches, and also on airports in Rivers State. According to findings as well, it has now turned into a ghost town with almost zero activity recorded in the past 2 weeks. It's still ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive. And guess what? Our ConsumerHalla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
Thank you so much for still being there with us. If you're just joining us this morning, this is ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. We're still moving on the news. Let's talk bank matters now. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, has disclosed that Nigeria's foreign exchange has remarkably witnessed a major boost as diaspora remittances soar. Mr. Olayemi Cardoso disclosed this at the Delta State Brazil Business and Investment Roundtable in Sao Paulo yesterday at the Hotel Melia Jardim Europea Sao Paulo, Brazil. The CBN governor said the monthly inflows have grown from about $200 million to $600 million in the past 2 months, with projections to hit at least $1 billion by the next year. The governor also emphasized that a strengthening of the exchange rate and improved remittance channels means Nigeria abroad no longer need alternative routes to send money home. The governor also said the rise in diaspora flows are diversifying Nigeria's foreign exchange portfolio and reducing over-dependence on oil revenues. Now let's go on a journey down to Ebonyi State, where the Ebonyi State government has announced an increase in the minimum wage of civil servants from 70,000 to 90,000 naira. The Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Chief Ikewa Omebe, said this yesterday while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting. Chief Ikewa Omebe stated that the increment was aimed at enhancing workers' welfare, adding that it took effect immediately and applied to all categories of the workforce. Meanwhile, in between Mr. Ikewa Omebe's statement, he said that the verification process for retirees in the local government areas had commenced, and when completed, the payments will be made. He also said that if the government did not play politics with such huge financial obligations, it would not so with an additional 20,000 naira to workers. We just moved away from Ebonyi State now. Now let's talk about the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Enneka Lokpabere, as the minister put on hold approval for the extension of over 50 expired oil licenses. The minister stated that over 60 licensees were awarded in a marginal bid round that took place a few years ago. Speaking recently at the Pen-Gas Energy and Labour Summit in Abuja, the oil minister said the licenses are currently on his table seeking extensions. The minister said one of the ways Nigeria can increase the volume is for those license holders to produce, stating that the country needs every available well to produce daily to meet both local and international demands. According to him, renewing the license is like improvising the holders, who he said they have to go. Let's talk about the Lagos State House of Assembly, as it is on the verge of a major transformation for the state energy sector. At a public hearing held about yesterday for the proposed Ibile Energy Corporation Law, a bill designed to expand Lagos State's involvement in oil, gas, and renewable energy ventures, was moved for debate. If passed, the new law would replace the Ibile Oil and Gas Law of 2015 and create the Ibile Energy Corporation. This new body would have the authority to invest across the entire energy value chain, from oil and gas exploration and production to the development of modern energy and solutions such as electric vehicle charging stations. The primary goals of the bill is to empower Lagos State to meet its growing energy demands by actively participating in all facets of the energy market, both within Nigeria and internationally. According to the draft legislation, the Ibila Energy Corporation will operate as a corporate body with the power to conduct business, own property, and enter legal agreement. On the foreign scene now, the Department of Homeland Security says the U.S. government plans to shorten the validity period of visas for international students and journalists. The proposed rule, foreign visas, which allow foreign students to study in the U.S., would be capped at a maximum duration of 4 years. Currently, students are granted visas for the full length of their academic programs, which can exceed 5 years for doctoral degrees. For foreign media professionals, a visa validity would be limited to 240 days, with a possible extension of another 240 days. However, journalist visas would be allowed to exceed the duration of their assignments. Any section will require applications through U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which will also cause an additional security checks. Just before we end the news this morning, the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, has given assurance of his government commitment to the timely realization of the proposed 10,000 barrel per day modular refinery project in the state. The modular refinery, which is located inside the Abia's Industrial and Innovation Park, OWASA, is being undertaken by the HSI Energies Group and is expected to provide 1,000 direct jobs and countless indirect jobs to the citizens of Abia State. The governor assured his commitment to the realization of the project when he received in audience the management of the HSI Energies Group, led by its Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ogumba Nwosu, who were in his office on Wednesday, 2 days ago, to give him the status update on the activities of the company and also to commence of the work at the site. The governor noted that the Abia Industrial and Innovation Park, sitting on about 2,000 acres of land, is capable of accommodating many industrial companies. The governor said that his administration has been busy providing a conducive business environment for business to thrive. The state chief executive said that the vast area in the AIIP OWASA is designated for a gas-powered industrial ecosystem, including energy, logistics, housing, a modular refinery, petrochemical plants, fertilizer components, and clean infrastructure. The governor appreciated the Group Chief Executive Officer of the company for his wise decision to locate the modular refinery in the state, having concluded works on the site, and noted that it will contribute to the growth of the economy of Abia State. The governor also noted that the Abia Industrial and Innovation Park, sitting on about 2,000 acres of land, is capable of accommodating many industrial companies. He said that his administration has been busy providing a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. And now we've come to the end of ConsumerHallaTV news this morning, but before we go, here are the recap of the major headlines. We told you that diaspora inflow is $600 million monthly, projected to reach $1 billion in 2026. All right, then we also brought it to you that Nigeria supplies over 70% of South Africa's oil consumption. We also told you that the federal government increased cost of a passport by 100%. And that is it on ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's meet again by the midday news at 12. And join us, please, on frequent hours on update on news. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am Ire Hayomikuleke.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our Consumer Hala brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
My name is Tunde Olufowora, and I'm the CEO of Brand Eye Communications. We are the what we call the publisher or the owner of the new initiative called ConsumerHallaTV. ConsumerHallaTV is actually Nigeria's first consumer-centered, or called a consumer-centric television platform that aims to bring voice to the over 220 million Nigerians. It was a vision that came to my heart about 10 years ago. I remember that I was traveling. I traveled out of the country, on airline, and I had this unpleasant experience. It was a trip to an African country from Nigeria, and I actually went with a local flight from Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the airline, and then it was to South Africa, and we landed in South Africa, and let me just paraphrase it. When I was coming back, I had some money, some dollars, and that someone had given to me to hand over to another person in Nigeria. So I wanted to help out. I didn't want to carry the cash on myself. So for whatever reason, I opted to. I had a small case, and I felt that it was safer for me to put the money in my luggage. So I put it in a safe place in my luggage, got everything intact, and I checked in my luggage. My arrival in Nigeria, I was standing and was waiting by the carousel just so that I could pick up my luggage, and then I was there for 1 hour and waiting for my luggage. I didn't know that my luggage already arrived, and it was one of the luggage that was moving around on the carousel. So after about 1 hour wait, I looked to my left and my right. Almost everybody had gone. I think there were just about 2 or 3 left. So I beckoned on the woman that was on my side, and I noticed she was really in tears. Madam, what happened? She said, her bag has just been torn and a lot of things stolen. So I said, well, I've also been waiting for my own. She said, you better go and check those luggages there. Maybe yours is one of them. And lo and behold, I went around there. Mine was one of them. By the time I got it, everything inside my luggage was gone. All the valuable things there were gone. To cut the long story short, we felt there was need for us to report the case, at least to the airline. It was in the night, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We went in to go and see the officer that was in charge, As soon as we got in there, the officer said, "Oh, so sorry, but you will have to go to our head office in somewhere in Victoria Island, to lodge a complaint." Okay. So the next day we went to the Victoria Island and we lodged a complaint, and that was it. And since that day, I'm talking a story of over 10 years ago, I didn't get a call, not even a call from that airline to talk to me about what happened to my luggage. Now, about a month after that trip, I had another opportunity to travel out of the country. This time around it was to US, and it was an official assignment. And I flew on, I will mention the airline this time around. I flew on a BA. I didn't like BA. I usually go with Virgin Atlantic and things like that. But my protocol officer convinced me and said, "Okay, you will love BA. Why don't you go on BA?" Anyway, so I went on BA to US. And of course, when I returned from US to Nigeria, we had to do, of course, there will be like a connecting flight, from Heathrow. So we got into London Heathrow, and then because it was through Heathrow that we went, and then so they changed since it was BA, they changed the aircraft this time around to a bigger one. I mean, clearly because there were more Nigerians, or more people that were planning to come to Nigeria, and then we boarded. Not quite 10 minutes into the flight, in the air, the aircraft started malfunctioning. The air conditioning compartment were not functioning very well. I was on what you call business economy. The whole of that business economy all the way to economy side, the ACs were not working well. It was hot. And then I was watching. And then from that moment till we got to Nigeria. From that moment till we got to, I'm just trying to paraphrase. From that moment till we got to Nigeria, I could remember very well how many times the pilot, broke into conversation and had to apologize and say, "We're really very sorry about this." He was giving us almost every 30 minutes. There's always a kind of update. "So sorry, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing." While we were on that journey, I also remember an incident. So they came, the crew apparently couldn't resolve it. They couldn't manage the crisis or what was going on about it. They couldn't fix it. So they come up and said, "We're so sorry, but for all the inconvenience, we're declaring, free lunch, free whatever it is you want, you can get." So trust Nigerians, you need to hear how everybody was jubilating, But something struck me. The experience I had just about a month before, and this experience, somehow I started comparing them. I was trying to see how this matter will be managed. Again, to cut the story short, we landed in Nigeria on the BA. Before we landed, the pilot announced and said that for the inconvenience, they will be giving a voucher of £50 to everyone that flew on that aircraft. I thought it was a joke. I mean, it was my first time with BA, but for what I knew or know of the British man would never even play with his 1 penny, talking of £1. So I felt that must be a joke of the year. So we left. I got back to my office. I think it was just about a week after. My officer, our guys in our mail room came up and said, "Oh, you have a parcel." So I said, "Parcel? Yeah." So they bought this parcel wrapped. I opened it and boom, I bought the document out. It was the £50 voucher from BA. So what's the tenor of this story? An experience with one airline, was terrible. No apology. An experience with another one. Even though it was a bad experience, but it was very managed, well managed. So managed that even if we have suffered anything in that aircraft, you probably, for the sake of how they manage it, will have forgiven them. So that was how this journey started. So I started thinking in my mind, this is what we go through in this country. But are we different from other nations? So God put in my heart the idea of ConsumerHalla. That's why the Hala came with consumer. And we started that journey about 10 years ago. We started by creating a platform called ConsumerHalla, where consumers, so I discovered that Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. So things happen, and that's it. We live with everything. So we've started the journey from creating the platform. We have an app, we even have a magazine, and we thought we could move it from that to the next stage, which is the television. So the TV today, has come. So I would say precept by precept, line upon line, we have been able to build on our aspiration, to finally bring to birth this unique and exciting platform, So it's a digital telecast, and our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The world of consumers is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria, all right? So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you.
My country people, how do you weather be for your side? As you see, so the weather here dey hot. Now your ogbonge show be this, how market today for ConsumerHallaTV, where we dey run you price of different commodity where you dey buy, from food items so reach electronics, any household commodity where you dey use. Now for ConsumerHallaTV on top our market today, we fit get and at the street of Lagos I dey Ikodo market precisely, where I go dey ask people the price of food items. And say food dey important and e dey nutritious. Maybe they shop different food items. As you dey shop rice, now you go dey shop beans. Now as you dey shop beans, now you go dey shop semo. And as you dey shop semo, you go dey eat fruits. So now today I wan ask sellers and buyers, say wetin dey think how the price of food items be for Ikodo market here, and what do they think say they influence the price of all these food items. Come with me as you go dey enjoy ourselves on the show today, where you go dey run you price of different commodities. My name remain Iremofe Koforola, pikin wey im mama like well well. Enjoy. Good morning, wetin be the name?
Na 6,000.
One paint 6,000, Derika 1,000. How much be that one paint before and the Derika?
The Derika we dey sell before 1,000. White paint we dey sell 5,000. 5,500.
5,000, 5,500, 1,000 for Derica.
Yeah. But now, some people they sell pay 6,500 because the market too cost now. Now you make am.
Okay, so that long rice, you get long rice too. Where long rice say? Okay, this one a long rice. Okay, how much did they sell Derica for that long rice?
Now 1,500.
Okay, the long rice they expensive per this one.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, for Derica, how much do you pay for long rice?
7,500.
7,500. Oh, okay. So now also foreign rice, abi?
Yes, yes.
Okay, which one people can they buy more? Shey na foreign rice or local rice?
Even though local sell wey suppose go down, wey even was pass.
Look how expensive pass foreign.
Yeah.
Why you think say local expensive pass foreign? Because now local is supposed to be our rice now.
Yes, but local concourse pass foreign rice wey be say na another country dey enter.
So now even the one wey be say na local, na another country sef even dey.
No. I say local wey be say e suppose cheap pass. Foreign come cheap pass.
Okay, foreign.
Wey be say e dey enter for another country come Nigeria.
I understand.
Cheap pass foreign local rice. Local rice sef normal they suppose dey sell am 50 something but na 70 something. Like big bull now, if you go price big bull, you go dey see say dem dey sell big bull 70 something thousand naira. For big bull wey be say na for local rice, no be Nigeria, no be foreign rice.
So which one people can dey buy more? Shey na local rice or na foreign rice?
They dey find the one wey cheap na. You no go see wetin dem dey sell 10 naira, go dey buy wetin dem dey sell 20 naira. Yeah.
So why you think say the local rice dey expensive like that?
Na Nigeria economy na make am like that.
Okay. So maybe comot for rice now. Which kind of beans be this one?
This one na oloyi.
Oloyin, okay.
Yeah.
What about this one?
This one na white beans.
Okay.
This one na drum. This one na olo.
Oh, that one na wetin?
Olo.
Okay, so how much be this oloyin for one pint and Derica?
This one na 1-2 spend 6,000.
Okay, it's just like this small rice, the same price.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about this white beans?
The same price. Why this one na 5,000? This one 5,500. The Derica 1,000. This one Derica 1,000.
Okay, now this one more expensive pass that one.
Yes.
So which one people can they buy pass out of all these beans?
Some people like honey beans. Some people like this one. You know say some people, almost people wey dey buy it normal na this one wey dem know say e cheap pass na dem dey buy. Unless people wey get money to buy all this one, fit buy all this one.
Okay.
Yes.
As person wey dey sell all this rice, wey dey sell all these beans, now I wan ask you, wetin be the difference be for all these beans? Which one sweet pass? Is it that some beans clean pass another, or na wetin be the difference?
Na the sweetest. This one is number one of it. Why this one normal? Me sef like this one pass all this one because na this one we take go that time wey dey village. As we come Lagos, we come dey hear say this one na oloyi na im be number one. But normal this one na im be number one for this. Yes. That way we dey village na this one we dey shop. Yes, na wetin happen be that.
How much be the bag of this one? The bag of this?
75k.
75,000. So beans expensive pass rice.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe quickly look at tin tomato now. How much be this Rico tin tomato now?
This one is 1,100.
1,100. How much did they sell them before?
Before we dey sell am 800, 900, 1,000.
So tin tomato tomato sef don dey expensive.
Yes.
Okay. How about King's oil? How many liters be this one?
2 litre.
2 liters. How much did they sell this one?
This one 8,500.
8,500. How much did they sell them before?
Before we dey sell am 7,500, 8,000.
7,500, 8,000.
Yeah.
How about power oil?
Power, this one is 3,500.
Okay, this one small to this one, Rabi. Okay. So how market come be now? Wey be say things don expensive before? Like how many bag did they sell? How many bag can they sell now?
Like this now. If you dey sell 2 bag, you go dey sell 1 bag now. If you dey sell 2 bag before, you go sell 1 bag now. Yes.
So which advice you wan give government now?
Make dem look for wetin dey sup for Nigeria. Make dem dey do some things price so that people go dey chop. You know say some people no dey chop for this country wey we dey so. Some people dey chop food. Some people dey chop the one wey dem see just like that. E get some people wey no dey chop. Yes, make dem put eye for this our country so that everything go dey nice. Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ mà, kí lorúkọ yín mà?
Ẹ káàárọ̀ o, Mrs. Shembadejo.
Kí lẹ pè mà?
Mrs. Shembadejo.
Ok mà, báwo ni ojú ọjà ṣe rí láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọdún yìí?
Ṣe rí láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kò tiẹ̀ kò rọgbọ rárá gbogbo ẹ̀ kọ̀ wọ́ gbogbo ni àfi k'Ọlọ́run ṣàánú wa. Irú pòtétò yìí sìn ó lè yẹ ta máa ń rà tẹ́lẹ̀ sìn tẹ́lẹ̀ gan ta bá ìgbé bí àpò kan lójúmọ́ a máa ń tà tán ṣùgbọ́n sìn bí ọjọ́ mẹ́ta la dẹ̀ fi ń ta kò sọ́jà kò sí nǹkan kan.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ tó bá jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ àpò kan ẹ máa ń ta tán ní ẹ̀ẹ̀kan lójúmọ́ bí ọjọ́ mẹ́ta lè fi ń ta.
Ọjọ́ mẹ́ta la fi ń ta sí i o tẹ́lẹ̀ kẹ̀ àpò kan yẹn ta bá ti gbé ilé ẹ̀kọ́ yẹn a máa ta gbogbo ẹ̀tọ́ lọ́jọ́ yẹn ní pátápátá máa mèrè ta jẹ ṣùgbọ́n sìn àríta bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀wọ̀n gbogbo ni wọ́n máa láti lé kéré jù tabakẹ̀lé tó tabálé báyìí tábàlé báyìí a lè rí nǹkan kan nú ẹ̀ owó mọ́tò tó bá wa gbé láti mile 12 tá a ti ń gbé náà ó wọ́n gbogbo nìkan lọ́hùn kó ṣàánú ìdí nìyẹn sì bí ọjọ́ mẹ́ta la dẹ̀ fi ń ta àpò kan kò sí nǹkan kan ní Nàìjíríà kan bá wa tún Nàìjíríà ṣe o.
Ọ̀nà àjẹ kò dáa mo fẹ́ béèrè ló lẹ́ ń ra àpò pòtétò yẹn sí ló lẹ́ ń ra tẹ́lẹ̀.
Tẹ́lẹ̀ àpò pòtétò a máa ń rà ní nǹkan bóyá bíi 20 tẹ́lẹ̀ nísìn ó ti di 50 something thousand sí èyí tá ń tà lọ́wọ́ ìsìn kan bíi 58,000 lára.
Ìgbà tẹ́ máa ń rà ní 20,000 yẹn ọdún mélòó sẹ́yìn?
Gbogbo nǹkan bíi 3 years to this time nǹkan bíi 20,000 ó ń lọ ìgbà míì tábàlà ní 20 lẹ́nì a tún lè lọ sọ́jà ní ọ̀tọ̀lá ká tó bá ní 18 bó ṣe ń ṣe nìyẹn ń sìn ṣe ló kàn fò sókè lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà tó di 58 àti ẹ̀rà báyẹn àmọ́ nínú ọdún 58 ládẹ̀ ń ràn sí 60 58 bó bá ṣe tóbi sí nínú àpò ló máa ṣe tà fún wa.
So èmi kàn tún fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ àmọ́ pé gbogbo nǹkan wọ́n sí ẹni ara òkùnfà tí ó fi wọ́n ní pé owó mọ́tò kí lẹ́yìn tún lérò pé oúnjẹ kó wọ́n sí lẹ́yìn owó mọ́tò kí lẹ́yìn tún lérò pé oúnjẹ kó wọ́n sí.
nǹkan ta túmọ̀ pé ó tún wọ́n sí ni pé tẹ́lẹ̀ eléyìí tẹ́lẹ̀ à ń lé bóyá bí ó yá 500 là ń lé irú eléyìí tẹ́lẹ̀ sí ṣùgbọ́n sìn eléyìí 1,000 naira ládẹ̀ ń lé 1,000 bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o 1,000 2,000 bá ṣe ń lé nìyẹn sìn so k'Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa.
Wọ́n náà jẹ́ ṣàánú ló tọ́ so nísìnyìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lélẹ́yìn sìn 1,000 lélẹ́yìí.
1,000 naira ni o.
Àwọn kéékèèké lélẹ̀ àwọn mìíràn tó tóbi jẹ́ àbí sáìzì kan náà ní gbogbo.
Àwọn míì máa tóbi gan kódà méjì a lè fi méjì ká ṣe ní 1,000 naira but àwọn eléyìí sìn tá a bá lè jù báyìí lọ a lè rí nǹkan kan bó tẹ̀ ṣe ń ta àtijẹ́ta láti ra pò kan sì yẹ ẹ̀rí tí ò ti tọ́ ẹ̀rí pójú ẹ̀gàn ti ń change so k'Ọlọ́run ṣàánú kó bá wa mú gbà rere wá sí Nàìjíríà.
ọ̀nà àṣàánú ló tán nǹkan tèmi tí wàá fẹ́ béèrè pé nígbà tí ojú ọjà ṣe wá rí báyìí báwo gan ni ẹ ṣe ń sustain ara yìí báwo lẹ ṣe ń ṣe gangan.
Kò kọjá àfaradà ń faradà náà nígbà tá à ní bòmíì ta lè lọ tá à dẹ̀ mọ̀ nǹkan tá a lè tà ju nǹkan tá a mọ̀ tá a lọ eléyìí náà la mọ̀ ta nǹkan tá a mọ̀ tà ní àmọ́ à ń manage ara ní management ní k'Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú kó bá wa tú gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe kí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó dẹ̀rọ̀. Ọmọ á jẹ ìyá náà máa jẹ ò kó ṣàánú wa Nàìjíríà kó bá wa tú Nàìjíríà ṣe.
èmi tí wọ́n fẹ́ béèrè pé ṣé nǹkan tó tún lè ṣokùnfà tó fi ṣe wọ́n ni pé ṣé kó máa ní àkókò tó máa ń pọ̀ àti àkókò tó yẹ kó máa dẹ́kẹ́ ṣé àkókò tó wà nìyí àbí àkókò tó yẹ pé kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ sí.
Àsìkò tá a wà yìí sìn àsìkò tó máa ń pọ̀ àsìkò tó yẹ kó pọ̀ dáadáa la wà yìí tó yẹ kó pọ̀ dáadáa tàdé wa tún rà ní àmọ́ tó ń rà tó bá ti máa ń wọ nǹkan bíi January yẹn kò tiẹ̀ máa ń sí rárá mọ́ kò tí ì ní fi bẹ́ẹ̀ jáde tààràtàrà mọ́ ṣùgbọ́n àsìkò tá a wà àsìkò ẹ̀ la wà yìí àsìkò tó yẹ ká máa rí ètò fáìn tó ṣe dáadáa lélẹ̀.
òkè tí ńgbà tí ó bá di pé pòtétò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ pọ̀ bí ìsìn kí lẹ máa ń ta ṣé pòtétò nìkan lẹ máa ń ta.
à ń ta carrot oná lè rí carrot à ń ta spring onion àwọn gbogbo nǹkan fried rice gbogbo ẹ̀ náà la máa ń tà.
ok so ẹ̀dá wa mẹ́nuba carrot títorí mo rí pé carrot ń sin ó tẹ̀ sí wọn gan ni so èló lẹ lélẹ̀ yìí báyìí.
eléyìí oní 1,000 naira wà bẹ́ẹ̀ oní 500 naira wà bẹ́ẹ̀.
ok èló lẹ ń ra àpò carrot.
àpò carrot tí wọ́n báyìí o ìlàrin la máa ń rà wá kan rọra máa ń ra díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni o bóyá ká ní kọ́kàn bá wa pín sí 5,000 torí tẹ́lẹ̀ a máa ń gbé àpò tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kò sọ́jà nsìn a kò máa rárá díẹ̀díẹ̀ bí ìlàtà wa mélòó kan máa jọ pín ni so bá ṣe rọra ṣe nìyẹn torí kò lẹ́mìí bó ṣe wáyé tómi bá kàn tílẹ̀ máa fi ṣú sí ó máa bàjẹ́ ni ó máa rọ pẹ̀tẹ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀.
èló ló ń ta àpò carrot sí.
ní ọba kìíní ní gbogbo last week kì í sí nǹkan bí 100,000 naira náà ń ta àpò carrot so yìí sì gan bí mo torí mi àwọn mọ́là yẹn lèmi sábà jẹ́ máa rán lọ torí ńgbà tá a bá tà lọ tà bọ̀ a ní rí nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ táwọn mọ́là yẹn bá ń lọ nígbà kan nìkan bá mi ra díẹ̀ wá eléyìí wọn bá tá a ti ń tà láti jẹta sí bí oní 30,000 láti ń tà láti jẹta tá a ti tà nǹkan kan tán wọ́n máa láti di ó ti kéré jù so kọ́ lọ́hún kó ṣàánú wa.
wọ́n náà ṣàánú any spring onion
no spring onion ló wà lọ́ọ̀kọ́ yẹn àwọn mọ́là ló máa ń kó yẹn wá máa réèyàn tó máa ń bá wa ń kó wá bíbà tó wá ń rà tá máa ń rà so ìdì kan 1,000 naira so bó ṣe máa ń dì yẹn kéékèèké nìyẹn ìyẹn ò tiẹ̀ mú wàhálà wá torí àwọn alákọ̀wé yẹn wọ́n láìkẹ́ tó bá di wíkẹ̀ndì ni àwọn ọjà báyìí máa ń yá so bó ṣe wà nìyẹn.
ìmọ̀ràn wọn lẹ máa fún ìjọba torí pàmò pé ìjọba gangan ló ń ṣe alákòóso gbogbo nǹkan ni.
kú ní dààmú kí ìjọba kó ṣàánú wa kó gbáláàánú dìde sí wa kó bá wa tún nàìjíríà yìí ṣe kó má jẹ́ kí nàìjíríà yìí dàrú ju bó ṣe wà lọ káwa náà inú nǹkan tá a máa ti rán ọmọ lọ sí skul náà ní táwọn ọmọ tiwa náà máa jẹ́yàn kó jọ nítorí ọlọ́run kó bá wa ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ní rọrùn kí gbogbo ẹ̀ dá kọ́kọ́ àwa pàápàá òbí kọ́kàn wa balẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ńgbà míì báyìí á lè lọ́ra nǹkan àti ẹ̀ tí ì ní ta rárá á lè jọ 5,000 naira bẹ́ẹ̀ tó láti mọ̀ pa máa rí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ṣùgbọ́n ń sẹ̀ hàn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ sìn kọ́lọ́run kó ṣàánú àdẹ̀ máa jẹun kán bá wa tún nàìjíríà ṣe kán bá wa sọ gbogbo ẹ̀dẹ̀ rọ.
lẹ́ẹ̀kan tí máa fẹ́ béèrè báwo ló ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń tajà ní ìpodò ń bíbà yìí àwọn ìpèníjà olè yìí ń dojúkọ ń bíbà yìí.
wàhálà ìtàlẹ̀ ìpèníjà àti ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́hùn kó ṣàánú kó ìyálọ́jà wa ò ní wá lára gbogbo ẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi ń rọ̀ wá lọ́rùn ọjà tí ó kàn sí òun náà ní nǹkan kan torí kò sọjà gbogbo ẹ̀ kàn dá ìgboro dá tó kàn bá wa tú gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ìyálọ́jà wa rọ̀ wá lọ́rùn kò fi nǹkan kan ní wá lára ìgbọ́n tá a bá tẹ́lẹ̀ sí la máa sanwó tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì but wọ́n fọ́ọ̀sì wa pé dandan ká sanwó ìgbà tá a bá ti ní nítorí àwọn náà wọ́n á máa sọ pé àwọn náà mọ bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe rí so ìyá dáadáa ni ìyá wa ràn wá lọ́wọ́ gidi ní kòdó ń bíbá yìí o kò fi nǹkan kan ní wá lára nínú ọjà wa yìí.
ẹ ṣé gan ma fún àkókò.
yes ma ẹ ṣé gan ni.
We don hear from Mrs. Shembade say the bag of potato now e don dey cost. Say before they dey buy am 20,000 but now they dey buy am 58,000. Say the price dey even fluctuate and like before wey be say they go fit sell one bag for one day but now they fit sell one bag for 3 days and she talk say even the price of carrot e don dey expensive. They no fit buy one bag as they dey buy am before and they dey come plead for government say make government help them look into the matter. Say even the cost of transportation dey affect the price of how they dey sell and people no too dey buy like before. Join me as I dey take you on this journey for other places wey we go dey consider the price of food items for Ipodo market here. Enjoy. Ẹ káàárọ̀ mà, kí lorúkọ yín mà?
Orúkọ mi ni Mistura Yusuf Ọmọbọ́láńlé.
Kí lẹ̀ ń tà ní ọjà Ìpodò ń bí?
Ó ta mọ́ínmọ́ín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀kọ.
Mọ́ínmọ́ín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀kọ. Wọ́n wá fẹ́ béèrè báwo ni ojú ọjà ṣe rí láti oṣù díẹ̀ sẹ́yìn báyìí?
Ó lágbára díẹ̀ láti bí ọdún mẹ́ta sẹ́yìn báyìí. Ọjà yẹn rí bákan bákan nítorí pé àwọn nǹkan tá à ń lò ó ti wọ́n. From beginning ìgbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọjà yìí gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n tó ilé.
Mọ́mọ́lẹ̀ ń ta irú àwọn èròjà olè máa ń kó sí mọ́mọ́tẹ̀ yìí ń ta.
A máa ń lo ẹ̀wà, a dẹ̀ máa ń lo ẹja, àlùbọ́sà, tórísì pẹ̀lú àwọn ata fresh one pẹ̀lú òróró, edé.
So èló lẹ̀ ń ta mọ́mọ́tẹ̀ yìí ń ta bí báyìí?
À ń ta ẹlẹ́yin 600, à ń tẹlẹ́ja 400.
Ẹlẹ́yin 600, ẹlẹ́ja 400. So èló lẹ̀ ń ta ẹlẹ́yin yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ àti ẹlẹ́ja yẹn?
Tẹ́lẹ̀ à ń ta ẹlẹ́yin yẹn ní 200 naira, à ń ta ẹlẹ́ja 100 naira.
Gáàpù yẹn pọ̀, kí ló dé tó ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀ gangan?
Nǹkan tó jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé tẹ́lẹ̀ ìgbà tí a fi ń ta bẹ́ẹ̀ à ń ra kẹwàá ní 600 naira wọ́n sì àti ra kẹwàá ní 6,000.
Láti 600 naira. Yẹ pọ̀, ọdún wo lẹ́yìn máa ra ẹ̀hún kẹwàá ní 600 naira?
Ìgbà tá a fi ń ra kẹwàá ní 600 yẹn láti bí ọdún mẹ́rin sẹ́yìn sí mẹ́ta 600 650 là ń ra kẹwàá but now wọ́n ti ta kẹwàá ní 6,000 naira.
Nísìnyí yẹn ó di dandan pé a ti àfẹ́tì bẹ̀ ṣe ń ta. Báwo lẹ ṣe wá ń tà sí lójoojúmọ́? Ṣé tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́ wọn kẹ́ máa ta jù báyìí lọ bọ́ báwo lójú ọjà yẹn gan ṣe ń rí lójoojúmọ́ báyìí?
Ní gbogbo bàtà ń rẹwà ní cheap price yẹn mo ń ṣe pọ́ọ̀tù mẹ́ta á dẹ̀ tán ó pẹ́ mi jù bíi 4:30 mo ti close bọ́ǹsì pọ́ọ̀tù kan tá a ṣe a lè tá di 12 alẹ́. So torí pé nǹkan ti wọ́n sí i kò jẹ́ ká rí kọ́sọ́mà lọ títí mọ́.
Ó yé mi, irú tẹ́lẹ̀já yẹ àti oní ẹyin yẹ èwo ló wá ń yá jù ní méjèèjì torí pé mo mọ̀ bóyá ẹyin ló wọ́n jù ní o àbí ẹja ló yá jù bọ́ ó máa ní nǹkan tó yẹ pé èyí táwọn èèyàn rà jù kí ni ìdí tẹ́ ṣe rò pé ìyẹn ló ń rà jù?
ẹlẹ́ja ló yá jù nítorí pé ẹlẹ́ja yẹn 400 naira ni ẹlẹ́yin 600 ni ìyàtọ̀ tó wà ń bẹ nìyẹn so táwọn èèyàn bá ti gbọ́ 600 400 ẹlẹ́ja yẹn náà máa ń sáré rà.
Ìmọ̀ràn wo lẹ wá fẹ́ fún ìjọba báyìí ìgbà tẹ́ pé ẹ̀wà àwọn ohun wọn sí ni tẹ́lẹ̀ ń rà 600 naira ó ti di 6,000 naira sí ìmọ̀ràn wo lẹ máa fún ìjọba?
ìmọ̀ràn àti ẹ̀bẹ̀ tá a bẹ ìjọba ni pé kán bá wa rọ ọwọ́ kínní káwa mẹ̀kúnnù náà lè rí bí lọ torí pé tó bá tún ti jẹ́ ń sìn àwọn èèyàn tún máa ní kọ́sítọ́mà bíi tàtẹ̀yìnwá abẹ́ ìjọba wa ni kán bá wa rọ gbogbo bí nǹkan ti le jù ó ti le jù kán bá wa rọ abẹ́ ìjọba.
Àgbàládùn pé Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kó bọ́ sí ìrọ̀rùn.
Àmín o Jésù.
Ẹ ṣé fún àkókò yìí ma. We don hear from Mrs. Mistura Yusuf say the price of moi don dey expensive as per reason say the cost of beans of beans don dey expensive. Say before na 600 naira they dey buy am 3 years back but now na 6,000 naira and she don plead say make government help look into the matter because na normal rate she dey sell and even the price of egg and fish e don dey expensive and when people hear say the price dey different they go wan opt for the one of fish and before she fit sell like 3 pots but nowadays na just 1 pot wey she go sell for throughout the day so she don beg say make government help intervene into the matter. Join me as I go dey take you round Ikodo market today. Good morning sir, wetin be the name sir?
In the market here they call me Baba Chiso.
Okay, Baba Chiso. Okay, I wan know wetin they sell for this Ikodo market.
We sell food stuff as you can see. Egusi, stockfish, crayfish, ordinary fish, dry and smoked fish, and some leaves. All the time, anything about soup. That's what we deal on here.
Okay, so I wan ask how the market don be since the beginning of this year?
Even if everybody knows, everybody is aware that things are really tight and the cost of market is even instead of it to be going down, it's always getting up every day. But it doesn't have a stable price. Some commodities here are very expensive. In the beginning, by when we enter this year January, the bag of egusi was around that 500 something thousand. But now you can, with $1 million, you can egusi is up to $1 million.
A bag of egusi?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're talking about 800 something thousand, 860 or so.
Hey.
So your number is 900 something thousand. So and before if you want to buy a banana, this cup now. This cup or the banana is 3,000. Why this is 1,500? But it was like this before. So it's really because it makes market to be dull. You can see I'm sitting there reading Facebook. If the market is serious, I will not see me handling this because the purchasing power of people are getting low now. So it's a pity that we find ourselves in such condition.
It's just so sad. But I would want to ask, since you sell varieties of food stuff here. Yeah. Now I want to ask, you don't talk about egusi. Let's talk about this fish now. The way they talk, how they say this fish particularly?
You know, this fish has sizes. This is a foreign fish. Call it Thailand fish. Thailand.
Okay.
It's a foreign fish. It's very expensive. Like this one is 2,000.
Just one.
Just like this one, 2,000. So, but before it, you can get 800, 600, 700. But due to the high price of it, even this 2,000, if you are selling finish, this one finish like it might not be 2,000. I will have to increase because what is the market is as if you sell something, 2,000 naira, you can that when you want to go and buy such thing again to replace the stock, you add extra money to buy it to replace your stock. So that's what is happening now. So maybe when you most people that have financial power, when they come, they buy a large quantity. So before they just that one finish, maybe they will about get money to buy to at the new rate. But everyone is as it is. Things are not equal as it's supposed to be, and the things are very expensive, and most of incomes are not sustainable for their family. So that's how it is.
So this one another type of fish. This one a local fish.
And this is okporoko. They call it okporoko, but now stockfish. This is okporoko, and this is the ear part of it. And it's very expensive. Like this one is 2,500 now.
This one where they sell 2,500. How much did they sell them before?
Maybe 2,000 or 1,800.
So maybe talk about vegetables. They sell different kinds of vegetables. Which kind of vegetable they sell here, and how much they sell them?
Like now, this is a very part of vegetable. They start it, I think 500 per bunch like this. That's a target. But it won before 200, 150. Like I said, leave it was 50 naira. Now sell it to 100 naira. Sometimes some people say 200. So we have other vegetables like 400, other Yoruba vegetables. They also say 500, which was 200 and 100 naira before. It's 500. Like water leaf is here now. The Thai water leaf 300 instead of 50 naira. So that's how the market is. So as you buy, that's how you sell. That's how it is.
So maybe talk about crayfish now. You know, say people crayfish now. Some people they
must have crayfish in your soup.
Yes.
So I'm the vitamin content of it.
Exactly.
A cup of crayfish is not much the high. Cup of crayfish is 1,000 naira.
A cup. The which
complete cup of crayfish is 1,000 naira. Okay. And if you buy that cup, it may not reach you to cook soup. So you can add more. But you can still buy crayfish of 200 naira. You can still buy crayfish of 100 naira. You understand? It depends. So it doesn't really matter. The fish is quite different. The size of the fish is quite different from other ones that have basic prices. The price is varies. If you can come and say crayfish 100 naira, it depends on what you want to use this for. You understand? So that's how it is.
So I want to ask, how much it be bag of crayfish or na bag or na with?
They use to measure crayfish. You can't buy a bag of crayfish unless you're a millionaire. We have what we call big nylon like this. We call it pattern. When they say 71,000. Yes, 71, 82. So if you buy like in a bag, you can get it like 5 or 6 in a bag. So they'll pack it like that. So if you know you are going to buy a bag of crayfish, because doesn't have a big money to buy crayfish. But if you don't have money, you can buy as little as that pattern. Some people say they buy paint and say sachet sell. Like buying paint of 9,000, 10,000 naira. You say share it and start selling small until you get a bigger quantity.
As they sell different food items here now, which one be the most expensive thing we say they sell for year?
Is ogbono.
Ogbono. Oh, ogbono they expensive. How much they sell them?
A cup of ogbono like this now is 3,000 naira, and you cannot reach me for soup. So for you to get a nice ogbono in your soup, you have to get like 6,000. So if you buy only about 6,000, what other things? How much are you going to buy? Other things here outside is very expensive. Yeah. So that's most. What I look at, that's the most expensive here now in cooking soup. Apart from about you go to the stockfish. The stockfish have sizes now, so I don't think it's more expensive because we have stockfish of 200. You can put in soup. If you don't put all those big ones, you can still put the little ones. Better bono. That's why we have little. We grind it and share it like this in batches like this, sachet like 200. So somebody who does have money to buy that one can buy like 3 or 4 for your soup. Some when they buy, they add okra. You get the point. So this is Nigeria that we don't. Nigeria we have thick skin to survive any condition we see ourselves. So that's how we do. We must move on. Life must go on.
You say okra too?
No, okra is in front.
Yeah. So when advice you go give government now as everything don't be like this, because you know say it definitely affect you.
And there's nothing you can do about government or issue on it, because it's not only one person something. I don't want to really point somebody say you are the cause of it or no. It's what is happening, so we take it like that. It's not everybody's fault.
So I go just want to know lastly now, what do you think say they cause the increase for all this thing? I don't say the economy bad.
It's natural now. It's natural. So it's not everywhere. Things cannot be gone like that. At times you go up, at times you come down. So you have to endure it. So I don't want to point hands or point so particular person. No, nobody. It's natural. Things cannot continue to be the same. You must have changes. You can understand. So I don't want to point anybody and it's everybody's fault. It's the economy we see. That's how it is. So move on with it.
Thank you very much for your time. My fellow country people, we don't hear from that issue from Mikodo market where they say different kind of food stuff where you say you want. If you want to cook your soup, assurance they say if you get all the food stuff where you want for you. As they sell stockfish, now they say egusi, they say ogbono, they say crayfish and different vegetable for a year. And anything you want, you go figure. But you don't talk say the price of ogbono, don't they expensive. Even the price of egusi and the price of different stockfish. The stockfish here, some they sell them for 2,000, and the cup of ogbono here na 3,000. And even egusi don dey expensive. And say this thing as e dey go up, e dey natural because sometimes you no fit determine the price of all these food items. Join me as I go take you around the Kodo market. They ask different sellers here the price of their food items. Enjoy.
welcome to Perspective on ConsumerHallaTV. A perspective as well, we'll talk about burning issues making the rounds. I'm Iri Hayomi Koneki. On today's edition of Perspective, we'll be talking about the Bank Customer Bill of Rights in Nigeria that was developed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to protect the rights and interests of bank customers. The Bank Customer Bill of Rights in Nigeria is a document developed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to protect the rights and interests of bank customers, and the bill outlines the rights and duties of bank customers, ensuring they are treated fairly and with respect. Since the early 2000s, there was a significant increase in complaints from bank customers in Nigeria, ranging from fair charges to poor customer service. Reports by Access Holding at that time, there was no comprehensive framework to protect the rights of bank customers, leading to widespread dissatisfaction and mistrust. In response to this concerns, the CBN Central Bank of Nigeria recognized the need for a robust consumer protection framework and initiated the development of the bank. However, the CBN collaborated with various stakeholders, including banks, consumer advocacy groups, and regulatory agencies, to ensure that the bill addressed the needs and concerns of all parties involved. After extensive consultations and revisions, the Bank Customer Bill of Rights was finalized and published by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the primary objectives of the Bank Customer Bill of Rights is to protect bank customer rights, to safeguard the rights and interests of bank customers in Nigeria, also to promote transparency and accountability. This has to do with ensuring that banks operate transparently and are held accountable for their actions, as well as enhancing customer satisfaction. This is to improve overall customer satisfaction with banking services in Nigeria. To foster a stable financial system. This has to do with contributing to the stability and development of the Nigerian financial system by establishing a clear framework for the protection of bank customers' rights. The Bank Customer Bill of Rights aims to promote a fair, transparent, and customer-centric banking industry in Nigeria. For insightful insight on the program, with me in the house this morning, I have Mr. Moshudi Samotu, public analyst and creator. It's a pleasure to have you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. And also we have virtually we have Dr. Eddie Ademosu, banker and former president, Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks, ACMB. It's a pleasure to have you, Dr. Eddie Ademosu. Okay, all right. I guess we're having network issues. So, Mr. Moshud, let me start with you. Let's help the Nigerian consumers to understand this new initiative from the CBN. What is this Bill of Rights? What is it all about by the CBN? And what is the importance of this bill? And what is exactly set to achieve?
Good to thank you for having me this morning. I just want to tell you that the Bill of Rights being put forward by the CBN is not actually new. It has been in existence for more than 2 decades right now, but just that because of the evolving development in the banking industry and the relationship that the banks want to build with their customers, and if you just go by the recent experience of what customers are experiencing with the banks, the CBN now think they need to be more responsive to the yearnings of the public. That is why they have come up now to recharge, so to say, to give life to what they already have before, and to take care of the development that have taken place between when it was initiated and now. I guess this probably will have been informed by the feedback they are having from customers and series of complaints that they are having from the customers, So the Bill of Rights that is being put forward right now is not actually new, but I just give you flavor to it. They want to give a life to it by codifying it and make people to be more conscious of their duties and responsibilities. Meanwhile, the bill is not just having to do with what customers will expect from their banks. It's equally two-edged sword. It's equally place a burden on the customers, their duties to their banks as well. It's a two-policy thing, but primarily it is a bill that probably wants to let the public know their rights, what is to expect from their banks when they have interactions. And so it is good that the CBN as a regulatory body is taking it upon itself now to be more responsive to its responsibilities by ensuring that the bank customers expend the best practices. This is going to instill confidence in the system, and at the same time is going to make the inclusiveness with the CBN is preaching more appealing. And of course, bank is now, everybody is now a bank customer. Actually, everybody is a bank customer with the advent of fintech and what have you. So the challenges of banks are getting more, so which means they need to be more responsive to the development. So quite good. It's a decision that CBN has decided to take, and I think it's a good direction. It will create sense of awareness for the people, for the public. So it is a good thing that's coming up at this very point in time.
Thank you for saying it's not a new bill. They're just adding flavor, because a lot of consumers are thinking when they heard the new bill, they're thinking, what bill are they trying to evolve out? And while talking the other time, you made mention of duties of the consumer to bank. What are the duties of the consumer to bank?
Thank you very much. When we are, there's no responsibility that doesn't go with duties. Understand? It's a two-way thing. Number one, apart from what you expect your bank to do for you, you equally have a responsibility. I'll give an example. If as a customer, it's your duty to have financial education. Understand? You should know that when you collect a loan, for example, from the bank, you must pay back. But the money is not a gift. If the bank gives you a financial instrument, it's your responsibility to keep it. And at the same time, if you have a login detail to your bank application, it's your duty to keep it. Okay, as simple as your ATM card, it's your duty to make sure that it is well kept, that your password is well kept. Am I getting me? It is your duty to ensure that when you collect, when the bank say do this, you respond and do what they ask you to do. Understand? So it is two-edged something. So it's not just probably what the bank holds you. You equally hold your bank in order to make sure that the relationship is effective and is mutually rewarding. So we have you as a bank customer, you have a responsibility. Likewise, your bank equally has responsibility. But most of us, we talk more about what the bank needs to do for us without thinking about what we need to do as well.
Interesting. What's significant? Okay, we have Dr. Eddie. It's a pleasure to have you. Good morning, Dr. Eddie.
Yeah, good morning. Nice to also be on this program.
Good morning, Dr. Eddie. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Dr. Eddie Ademosu is an ex-banker and former president, Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of a Bank. It's a pleasure to have you on board. It's an honor.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's start the conversation now. Start with this. Let the Nigerian consumer understand what this new initiative from the CBN is all about and what they're about to achieve with this bill.
Well, what I've acronymed or I've tagged as NBCBF, which is Nigerian Banking Consumers or Customers Bill of Rights, is a comprehensive document outlining the settlement, the entitlements, and the protections available to banking customers. In essence, the Bill of Rights aims to protect consumers of financial products, services, ensuring equitable treatment, and fostering consumer-centric financial environment. I've tried to liken this bill to the Bill of Rights in America. You talk about the Bill of Rights, which is fundamental document that lines the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, which guarantees essential rights and freedom for the citizens. But this time around, we are talking about the banking customers and consumers of financial services products. So, which will essentially give the customers rights, protection, and freedom. But if you look at it in detail, it also highlights the duties of the customers to the banks and the financial institutions. In essence, I heard Moshood talking about the two that is true. It's like two sides of the coin. And as we all know, of course, we talk about rights. Rights comes with responsibility. So it's essential that we understand the fact that the bill addresses both sides. Your rights as customer and your duties as customer to the banking institution. So in essence, it weighs more on the side of consumers, and that's why we talked about the bill being one that fosters customer-centric financial environment. That is the first thing that we are beginning to see customer as king. Okay, we also say in the banking industry that treat your customer as a king. Yes, he is a king because he holds the bread and the knife. So in that essence, this bill brings to fore the centrality, the power that customer holds in financial transaction business, and of course, it applies to all economies. So this is one bill that has come to address the rights and freedom of a typical Nigerian banking customer.
All right, Dr. Hediade. I'm glad for that, and I'm happy that you said you overheard when Mr. Moshood Isamotu was talking about the duties of the consumer to bank. I would like to ask you now, what are the duties of the consumer to bank, and how significantly different is this bill from the existing consumer rights as already established under the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission?
Okay, let me quickly take it from the rear, and that is to talk about the existing laws that protects the consumers and customers. These laws that have been in existence are complementary. I must say that the consumer protection law complements essentially this very important Bill of Rights, except that in this case, the financial sector services is being highlighted effectively. Okay, so and of course, you would expect that there will be overlap in terms of the critical areas required in these laws. So generally, even including the digital protection law, they all tend to look at the customer as the center of all activity. So it's right to conclude that from all ends, we are working towards ensuring that the consumers and the customers are treated appropriately within the obligations of our constitution and the available law. And having said that, we must, like we rightly said, that the consumers too and the customers also have duties to offer or render to their bank financial institution. For instance, there is need for you to understand that you have financial obligations and you also have the duty to be able to gain knowledge and understanding of the financial services. Today, the financial literacy level is very low. And that is to even say that those that are literate enough have been caught up in the web of not understanding financial product services or financial transactions. So, a whole lot of an area that we will need to begin to understand. So, as a bank customer, you need to keep abreast of developments in the sector so that you are not treated even as king as you should be. You are not treated like a slave. So it is important as a duty to have knowledge of the financial issues, financial products and services. And of course, also, you also know that it is your duty to also protect your instrument and all other information. I also was lucky to listen to Mochi, who talked about, for instance, even as little as your ATM card. Some of us can be very careless. We can toy with information relating to our ATM, sharing our PIN number, that is personal identification number, with third parties, which is not even necessary. And so you hold that duty to keep your financial instruments inside. Of course, one of the other things that comes as a duty to you is also the fact that you need to provide factual information at the point of inquiry. Some of us will think that by not being truthful to some of the information that they give out, they don't really make it affect the data that the institution will need to work with. For instance, if you want to access a loan, basic questions relating to your biodata will be required. Your incomes and earnings will be required. And so if you juggle the figure, you'll be affecting the outcome of the process to reach conclusion, and then it ultimately leads to granting of loan that shouldn't be granted in the first place. So it is your duty to give accurate and factual information relating to things that are required. And of course, it is also the duty of the consumers or customers to report suspected fraud or errors. This is common, and then we tend to underrate. A customer receives wrong transaction inflow into his account, and he feels it is his money or our money. That might not be right. You need to be sure that you are expecting an inflow, and if it doesn't, if it's not upon some of the inflow that you expect, you then have the right to quickly alert your bank and then inform them appropriately. That is the rightful thing to do, even as a citizen of any nation, not to talk of owning the bank that we do to. So what we are saying in essence is that the bill of rights works on two hands. One, the bank's own some obligations on you as customers, you also give them obligations. I think that's the way it works.
Thank you for highlighting the duties of the consumer to bank. The one I hold vitally personally has to do with reporting suspect fraudulent activities. That's one of a vital consumer right that a consumer must do anytime they are suspecting any misappropriate activities. Let's take a look at this complaint of bank customer across 5 major Nigerian banks, soared by over 63.54% in 2023, reaching over 10 million compared to 6.12 million from the previous year. According to the audited financial results analyst, Access Holdings, Nigeria's largest bank, saw an 81.26% increase in complaints, reaching to about 5 million in 2023 and about from 2 million in 2022. However, according to the report here, the financial institution under review including United Bank for Africa, UBA, Zenith Bank, GTC, Guaranty Trust Holding Company, and Wema Bank faced significant challenges in resolving these complaints, with some customers escalating issues to the Central Bank of Nigeria for intervention. In response to this escalating complaints, the UBA unveiled a scan to resolve complaints portal aimed at swiftly addressing customer disputes and enhancing confusion. Meanwhile, Zenith Bank experienced a decrease in complaints about 25.29%, which indicates potential strategies for managing consumer grievances. About this, what metrics do bank use to measure the effectiveness of their customer service, and what are the primary cause of the surge in customer complaints across Nigerian banks?
Well, generally, you need to take a statistics also of the level of financial inclusion that has occurred in the past few years, say within the past 5 years. There has been a geometric increase in the number of the people who are able to make use of financial services. The statistics put it as of today as almost about 74%. Which means the inclusivity, the financial inclusivity has increased geometrically back from, that is the statistics as at 2023. As at 2020, as at the year of 2020, the figure was less than 60%. So when you use that with the level of complaints that you begin to experience nowadays, it is expected, it is justified. There is an increase in the number of inclusion, which means more Nigerians now make use of financial services and they have access to financial products and services. So the number of complaints that will naturally come from such increase will also be as a measure of what we are beginning to do, which is a good development though. However, it is important to begin to look at the metrics in resolving these complaints. The brand communication will say talk about the complaints resolution mechanism. So we agree that banks at various levels have also been devising methods to address it. It is only when such banks couldn't get as fast as possible to the contentment of the consumers or customers that they can then begin to escalate to the regulatory authority. For me, in the past 5 years, the resolutions mechanisms have worked fairly better. It's something that you can score almost about 60% for the banking industry. But the issue is that even knowledge level, literacy level of our consumers or customers is still very low. There are issues, resolutions that can be resolved at their ends. In PR, we talk about PR financial literacy. If you don't understand basic requirements of why certain things need to be done in terms of services and products, and you venture into, you create complaints, you create clog, or you create noises along the channel for you to be able to get the best of the service you want. So what we are seeing in this regard is that the complaint can increase, but simultaneously the resolutions are also being worked on. It will be very difficult at that level to begin to talk about the mechanism being put in place by each of the banks. But aggregately, we know that, like we also highlighted in the statistics, at some point the complaints were just minimal. But like I also have alluded now, with more inclusion, with more people being dragged into the usage of financial services, we do expect that the complaint level will also slightly increase. But I want to believe that that is something that is being addressed by the appropriate authorities. But suffice to say that what drives much of this is enlightenment, awareness, education, training at all levels, both within and outside, and also the customers. That is where maybe like currently the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks will need to intensify their efforts in the areas of advocacy, enlightenment, education, and being able to take on activities that would bring to fore the knowledge gap that exists in the financial service sector, particularly to the customers. And so we expect that as we get more sophisticated, more means of mechanism to resolve complaints will be unfolded. Last time, the ACAM, the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers, highlighted the importance of AI, artificial intelligence, in resolving issues. So if we get to the point that even before the customer complains, appropriate mechanisms will have resolved to some great extent what currently exists as complaints.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy, for your take. Mr. Moshood, over to you now. Let's talk about this. Let's examine this bill in part, which says Nigeria bank customers has the right to be informed, right to choose, right to safety, right to privacy and confidentiality, and right to redress, among others. These are very fundamental areas that touched on the pillars of banking. Does it mean that Nigerian banks have not been fair in protecting customers or consumer along those paths this while?
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, this protective mechanism platform that CBN is just we are talking about has been there. But if they have been very effective, probably we'll be talking of something different now. But we can't blame them that it's never too late to do the right thing. Now, this right they are putting up right now, the right of the customers, it just suggests that if a research is done in Nigeria today about the reputation of Nigerian banks, honestly, I think they may not have a good grade. That's what I'm saying about Nigerian bank. That suggests that the mechanism already in place are not very effective. I will give an example. Okay. KPMG did a report in 2024 December, which was released last year. They said that customer resolution mechanism by banks remain the weakest link in the financial system, the weakest link, which means they are not effective. So bringing them up right now, and it's a way to drive that they become more active in enforcing it. So if it's not just being there, how do we enforce it? That is very important. That is why all the key stakeholders need to be involved. The banks themselves need to ensure that they activate their portals to be able to track every complaint, and then a resolution mechanism is put in place. It is when those things are put in place that this right can be enforced. And of course, Nigerian customers, bank customers, need to know how do I get redress if this right is violated. Understand? That is their right to seek redress. For example, CBN already has a customer protection, bank consumer protection department. I mean, there's a standard form for you to fill online if you cannot go physically. I mean, to utilize that aspect. If your bank fails to redress your complaint within 2 weeks, you can escalate to central bank, who will get in touch with the appropriate bank and even put sanctions. That is why most of the banks now are now forced to disclose every infraction, every complaint they receive in the annual report, so that we guide the CBN to see whether we are making progress or not. So as a stakeholder, all of us have responsibilities. The mechanism put in place to activate the right of individuals, of bank customers, they are there. But the CBN responsibility is to enforce that they work. That is what he's trying to say.
All right, thank you for that. Let's talk about this now. How save our bank customers information in this era of growing digital fraud? Because bank consumers have been made to bear the brunt of losses arising from the digital fraud, and how will this bill guarantee some level of balance or strengthen consumer safety? And as well, Dr. Reddy was talking the other time, he made mention of AI, and how can AI be of help to bank industry to eradicate any fraudulent activities?
Okay, thank you. There are two questions there. Number one, let me take from the AI. How the AI can help to, AI is a human intelligence. I mean, intelligence because from artificial intelligence, and the idea is that to make the system faster and that it's more secured, at the same time more smooth, and then because the idea is that you get it right, and then there is a system in place to put in order, and there's a mechanism that probably you can activate as an individual to resolve most of the complaints. So the issue of artificial intelligence is now taking over processes that are humanly done, that are done by woman. But the issue is that it's not a human being. It's been programmed to detect errors and to handle cases, but it is what we feed in that we get in. And meanwhile, there is no product of human that is very perfect. And the things are evolving. As the issues are evolving, technology continues to evolve. So one of the feedback, one of the byproduct of that technology is the second question you asked me, the safety of consumer data and then their funds in the banks. That leads to the second one. Now, the era of the digital banking, honestly, I suppose a challenge. The challenge that is the way to go. The second level of it is that it is open to many things. Understand, like fraud and what have you. Because the technology you are having, somebody somewhere is ready to decode it. And that is why banks constantly upgrading their system, upgrading the applications, and encrypting the word and the whole process, so that it's very difficult to visit, to break into. Number one is that they ensure that their sites are very secured. There are many unsecure sites that are there. So as a customer, as a bank customer, if you visit a site, you want to use your card, if you visit a site that is unsecured, you need to run away. That's a problem. If you put out a password, how strong is your password? Understand? If you do how do you link your password together? If you reach a fish account, a fish call, do you respond to it? If you don't, you initiate a transaction and you receive a code, why do you need to activate that code? Are you getting me? So the education has got to be continued. The information technology technicians, they are all to be up their game as well, so that they can think ahead of the first start. But I'm telling you, it's not a local problem. It's a challenge all over the world about this of a digital fraud. Understand? Even well-developed economies who have been using this digital banking for over the years, they still have these challenges. And even at a global scale, it is an issue. And I believe the ITU, they are equally taking record of all these things. But by and large, the issue more is that you as a customer, there's much you can do to protect yourself. Understand? And if anything happens, the technology can even trace it where it happens. Understand? That is the essence of it all. But as a customer of the bank, you have a duty to ensure that you protect yourself from digital fraud. And if it happens, there are levels to escalate it to your bank primarily, and then to the CBN, and they can then trace how it happens, and that form the basis of how the banks form the basis of what the bank needs to do next. That is why you keep banks regularly updating their system, upgrading the system, as educating you. Do not expose this. Do not visit unsecure sites and what have you. So there are a lot of things that go along that.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Do you agree with what Mr. Moshood Samotu is saying? And as well, let's look at the area of enforcement. How are these rights of consumers being monitored and enforced within the banking system?
Well, generally, as an ex-banker like myself, Moshood is right to a great extent. I just need to add also that what we have currently is meant to achieve greater output in terms of compliance. The truth of the matter is that the bill will definitely strengthen customer service. And what is central to you and I as a consumer of banking financial products and services is for us to be well served, quality service, and safety in terms of security of our deposits and other instruments. And of course, also, it will standardize charges. You see, we've had so much talk and discussion and discourse around the fact that the charges in the banking industry are outrageous, levies and all sorts of fees being put together. One of the fallouts and the positive fallout of this bill is to the effect that with time, and I want to be very cautious in measuring that, with time we will gravitate towards standardized charges. It's not that Bank A is charging 10,000 while Bank B is charging 5,000. Just like we have in the network world, the telecommunication world today. So, and also to underscore what you said, the effectiveness of this bill, in order to be favorable to consumers, must also be consistently and constantly monitored by the regulatory bodies, particularly the Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, they have agencies set up to look at this, particularly the Protection Council agency. But then the banks and financial institutions fall under the CBN, and it is important that they do not let go. When I emphasize do not let go, they must stay on top of the fact that serious complaints must be resolved within a specified period of time. And where that is not done, proper sanctions should be applied. Okay. I also will need to dwell a little bit more on the technology and customer service role of today. You see, technology, like we said of the bill itself, consists of two sides of the coin. As much as we look at the positive sides of technology in driving financial services and products, we must also begin to be wary of the limitations and the challenges, particularly in an environment like ours that has infrastructural challenges. So, not too much of optimism to be expressed as we are as of today. But we believe as we progress into the reform in the economy, we are likely to begin to see better and more secured applications of the technology in all forms. So, generally, I will just position that we have been lately lucky to have this bill highlighted. We've been there to some extent, but like I have taken this to the Bill of Rights in America, when you push out a commitment like this, even when it is not backed by law, you are under moral obligation to be sure that you just don't push out a document for the purpose of the shell. You must ensure that it is effectively implemented, and that is why we keep going back to the CBN, who has initiated this bill at this point in time, to ensure that all stakeholders speak to it, and then we get the best out of it. Just in the interest of all of us, at one or the other, you will become a bank customer, and so there is no way nobody can run away from it. Either you are in practice now or outside of the practice, or whether you are operating as a player, as you will need to understand the fact that it is in the interest of individuals and generally in the interest of the economy for this bill to succeed, and that is why some of us are clamoring for the fact that the CBN should not let go, should push further and ensure appropriate delivery.
Thank you for your take. Just as you said, we are hoping for a proper implementation of this bill. Because of the time, Mr. Moshood Isamotu, now, what more should the regulatory authority do to standardize and regularize banking services in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Naturally, this is a business of competition. Bank is a business of competition. So there's a minimum level of standard that the banks will operate. For example, the central bank now being a regulatory authority has come up with a list of charges that bank must charge per product. For example, if you withdraw ATM from an offsite ATM machine, that's a charge that must appropriate. So that one, irrespective of bank, is a standard thing. If you obtain a loan, for this brand of loan, this is the number of charges you must require. If you have issues with your bank, the complaint will be resolved within the frame of time, which means there are some level of standardized rates, standardized time that issues will be resolved. They already in existence. The only thing is that if you apply for a customer a bespoke product, you may pay by different rates. But this is that whatever generic products that are offered, the CB already has a guideline that guides such product. It is you now as a bank customer that you need to find out, or is part of your duty to seek this information. But primarily your own bank is supposed to give you. But if you think you have a doubt, you can equally seek the redress. Get into the escalate it. You want to know what the rate CBN rates are in respect of this product, and then you can take from there. And if your bank is not helping you, you can escalate to central bank. That's what it means. Understand? Of course, the FCPC is there, but the FCPC offers generic covering to all customers, whether it be network, whether it be telecom customer, bank customer, other shades of customers. That's what FCPC does. But for the fact that for that sector where you are seeking a redress, where you have issue with, you go to a specific regulator for that business. That's what it is. But by and large, the CBN has a standardized rates and standardized practice. And before, apart from the manual of procedure which every bank operates in, the CBN regulation take precedent above all this.
What is your assessment of the role of technology in customer service protection and safety?
Now, the technology have been doing a lot. For example, right now, if you input your age, if you put a password that probably is not correct, the technology will bounce you back. So which means you cannot force yourself into it. And at times when you log in a detail, after 2 or 3 times, you are bad. Go and visit your bank to fetch your registration. That is a safety that have been put up on it. Am I correct? And there's even a limit. You can put a limit on your bank account that there's a limit to which can be taken out of your bank for this period. Understand now? Which means technology has put a caveat on it. So if somebody wants to break in, technology will not allow you to break in. So technology is doing a lot. But as I tell you, as you are doing that, some bad guys are equally doing things to break into. So that's why bank continuously doing upgrading their system and equally educating the bank customer what they need to do. Understand? And if that is why, as simple as SMS, if you receive an alert from your bank and that is not yours, you didn't initiate it, before you call us so that the person won't go for the next one, you can block your machine, your ATM. You can block your account from your phone. The phone. So that you don't need to go to the bank. You can then go to the bank and complain. But before then, by the time you receive the first alert for debit not initiated by you now, technology has put, you can stop that thing. Understand? And then at times, if you put in as a clause in your bank, please, any money below the social amount, call me for confirmation. These are the steps that took in place. So, of course, there are going to be infrastructure left and right, but there are mechanisms equally that have been put in place. And the things are evolving. This technology, what it was 10 years ago, is not the same thing right now. So as the things are evolving, there's going to be more responsibilities, there's going to be more duties, there's more duty of care is more on the bank because the customers are king, whatever it is. So that is very, very important. So responsibilities on the part of the regulator, on the part of the operator, and on the part of the customers as well.
Thank you, Mr. Amosho Disamotu. Over to you now, Dr. Reddy. Let's have your parting shot, and as well, what is your personal assessment of bank customer service in Nigeria?
Okay, let me just be very factual. I will take it from the customer service assessment. The truth of the matter is that some of us did the research that is comparative in nature. For instance, my thesis is essentially on banks branch management between a period of 1996, just before the account was formed, and then 10 years after, when account had taken root. And so the research conclusively indicated that bank services have improved greatly. And it was essentially attributed to the impact of ICT generally. So we need to begin to talk about information communication technology, not to talk of technology alone. And so the parting shot here is this: that going forward with better innovations and applications of ICT, more tactics and modems and mechanisms, we will begin to see better results in value, particularly in the Nigerian context. I'm not equating it or benchmarking anyone with any part of the world, but honestly, the young brands have come of a great positive impact. Nobody can take that away recently. Yes. Now, so my parting shot is simply that consistently, what we lack in terms of connecting the nexus amongst stakeholders in the banking industry is the need to apply what some of us have said you call ARER: adequacy, relevancy, and efficiency of usage of policies. There's always a disconnect. That is the major issue. Now we're talking about Bill of Rights today. How consistent are we over time? How efficient are we in ensuring that we don't let lose of the nitty-gritty of the game? And how relevant are they with time? We need to begin to address all this and ensure that going forward we are at par with what the world is dictating. Sometimes we spoke about financial inclusion. It will surprise you that as of today, Nigeria is still far below some African countries in terms of elsewhere it has attained over 100%. We are still struggling to attain 90%. We are like 74% down, and that is not too good. So it means that we have enough to catch up to make. So we need to be able to connect the dots and link the various gaps. Like I said, it is among the triple of the stakeholders: the consumers, the customers, the operators, the regulators. And with that, I'm quite sure that we'll do more than what we are doing today.
Right, we are hopeful. Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy Ademosu, for your time and contribution on the program. Please do well to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. And to my brother, Moshood, nice to see you all over again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Bye. Thank you very much.
All right, have a beautiful and pleasant day, Dr. Reddy. Now, Mr. Moshood, let's have your parting shot as well.
The banking is a serious business. If you don't get right in the banking industry, you may not get back in the rest of the sectors of the economy. So, which means customers is, and when you place that at with the customers as king, all the stakeholders involved, especially the regulatory authority, the banking operators, the bankers, they need to do more, ensuring that they get it right, because that is only when they can be able to deliver their role in growing the economy. Because when the confidence is not there, their image will be eroded, and the economy, their impact in the overall economy will be affected. Because if you don't get it right in the banking sector, you can be sure many things will go astray in the economy. So which means the central bank, banking operators need to up their games, while customers also need to know their duties as well in their interactions with their financial institutions. That's what I have to say.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Moshood Samotun. He's a public analyst and a commentator. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate your contribution, your time, and your quota. I'm very sure all these things you've said, if all measures are being put in place, very sure the banking industry will be up to task, and there will not be issue for consumers or customers to be complaining about so many dissatisfactions activities that has to do with the banking industry. Thank you so much. Now we have to round things up on Perspective today. We appreciate you for being there, and most especially you as a consumer. You have a duty obligation to the bank. It's vice versa. As the bank has obligations to you as a consumer, you yourself, you have some things to do, necessary steps to take to the bank as well. Thank you so much. And for the bill, because a lot of consumers, there have been a lot of reactions. People are misquoting it, that what bill? It's something that has been existing for a very long time. Just I'm using the word Mr. Moshood used earlier on when he started the program. He said they're just adding flavor to it. So they're just adding flavor to it. Thank you so much for being there. Another beautiful edition of Perspective. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Irea Yomikuleke. Stay with us for the rest of the day.
Build it in such a way that we have connection to almost all the organizations, and it's been working. We've resolved several complaints for people without having to charge them any penny, because the idea is not to charge, So what we have done with ConsumerHallaTV is to take it to the next level. So we hope to change the narrative. We want to give the right direction. Nigeria has the largest consumer market in the world, with a population of over 220 million people. Why should we be the one that is suffering the most? Everywhere you turn to, it's as though Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. You're traveling, you buy a ticket. For whatever reason, an airline will wake up middle of the night, delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation. Then while you're there, they can even wake up and say, oh, flight has been cancelled. So everybody carry their luggage and go home. Nothing happened. Of course, things are changing. We must commend government, because government is beginning to wake up, but there's still a lot to be done. And we believe that we can help to make, bring about those right changes. So we offer deliberately, part of what we do is that we also offer advocacy. All right, we're not just an advocacy organization, but we offer advocacy. We have a legal team. We have lawyers that are registered on our platform. All right, that can also take up cases. Okay, so and we've taken up many cases like that, and won those cases. So ConsumerHalla is a platform to help consumers to, we're not fighting brands, but rather we say we're bringing about an amicable, resolution of conflict, such that it will be beneficial to the consumers and also be beneficial to the brand. I remember the word of Jeff Bezos. Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He said that the most important single thing, all right, for an organization is to focus obsessively, use the word obsessively, on the customer. We often say that customers is a king. They should sit at the top of the ladder. In our environment, customers are the ladder. A brand wakes up today, decide what product to produce. They wake up today, decide how much the consumer should pay, They wake up to decide everything for consumers. So consumers are just at the receiving end. And yet, they are milking the consumers. There's no price regulation in this country. None. People just wake up and fix prices. Look at the power. Government wakes up, we change policy, we wake up and we get people to pay more. We think it's time for consumers to begin to speak out. In speaking out, in engaging, we can get the brand to begin to do what is right. And of course, I know that the consumers themselves need to be educated. So our role, our vision also is to ensure that we educate consumers. We bring awareness. A lot of Nigerian consumers don't even know about their rights. You buy a product from a supermarket. I've had this experience. You buy a product from a supermarket, all right? For whatever reason, you take that product back to your house, and maybe something went wrong somewhere. By the time you take that product back to the shop where you bought it from, and you say, Oga, this thing, you know what's going to tell you? Oga, na me make am. Na me make am, and that's why I buy am. Meaning that there's nothing I can do to the product. So you lose the product, then you lose your money, because the money is not refunded. The product you can't use. Only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria. Let me give you another experience I had. In the course of this, because I went around, in doing this. I was in US, I was in UK, I was in South Africa, I was in Germany, just because of this, to just study the environment. I was in a friend's house in UK, in London, and then what happened? We were going to go out, and he was going to dress up. So he said, to me, I was seated in his sitting room. So he said, wait a minute, I picked up an iron, that's a pressing iron, 2 days ago or so from a store. Let me try this, let me just stand, use that to iron my shirt, and we can go out. So I was seated, the TV was on, I was watching. While I watched him, he brought out the pressing board, spread it out, brought the iron out in my presence, plugged in the iron, and then as soon as he switched on the power button, we just had a spark. Boom! The guy was raged. Then he goes, What just happened? So he said, No, these guys are in trouble, they're in soup. I was thinking, what are you?
Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on ConsumerHallaTV. I'm Kike Lomo. Ajibona, let's start the news this morning with Nigerian Immigration Service, as Nigerian passport applicants will now pay a 100% increase in fees, with the new rate set to take effect from September 1, 2025. This was announced in a statement released yesterday by the spokesperson of the Nigeria Immigration Service, A.S. Akinlabi, who said the review is aimed at safeguarding the quality and integrity of the Nigerian standard passport under the new fee structure for applications made within Nigeria. The statement further says the 32 passport page for 5 years validity will now cost 100,000 naira, up from 50,000 naira, and the 64-page passport for 10 years will now cost 200,000 naira, up from 100,000 naira. However, applications by Nigerians in the diaspora remains unchanged at $150 for the 32-page passport and $230 for the 64-page booklet. This development comes just a year after the federal government last reviewed passport fees in 2024 when the cost rose by about 42.86%. The NIS has now reassured applicants of its commitment to delivering quality services while acknowledging the concerns over affordability for ordinary Nigerians. Now let's talk about a global related story here, as Nigeria has just been ranked a 116th in the 2025 edition of the Chandler Good Government Index, a global benchmark that measures the effectiveness and capability of national governments. Please, let's go on a short break, and when we get back, we'll get right back into the news. And now let's take this news from the top now. Sorry for that break in transmission. Let's talk about a global related story here, as Nigeria has just been ranked 116th in the 2025 edition of the Chandler Good Government Index, a global benchmark that measures the effectiveness and capability of national government. This report further reviewed Nigeria's struggles across key governance indicators and its failure to feature among the top 5 African countries. The Chandler Good Government Index assesses countries based on 7 broad pillars, and Nigeria's performance reviews deep structural governance with challenges. Now let's look at what the report of the CGGI says about Nigeria. The country is placed at 110th in leadership and foresight, 112th in robust law and policies, 114th in strong institutions, 89th in financial stewardship, 14th in attractive marketplace, 112th in global influence and reputation, 120th in helping people rise. Despite a relatively better standing in financial stewardness, Nigeria's low scores in other areas illustrate the steep task facing policymakers in improving governance and strengthening public institutions. And now let's move away from that now to business matters. Here, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has significantly reduced Nigeria's reliance on imported petrol, saving the country is up to $10 billion in foreign exchange annually, while also boosting fuel markets in West and Central Africa with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. Meanwhile, its exports have expanded to include West and Central African nations, as well as global markets like the United States and Saudi Arabia. The refinery now produces and exports diesel, gas oil, and jet fuel, fulfilling both local and international demand and reshaping trade flows with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. The refinery has quickly made its mark in the West African region, particularly in Nigeria's petroleum industry, which for decades has struggled with the absence of the fully functional domestic refinery. Now let's quickly move away from that now to another story right here, as Nigeria supplies over 70% of West Africa's oil's consumption. Bobby Morrow, the acting High Commissioner and Consul General of the Republic of South Africa, has disclosed that his country imports more than 70% of its oil from Nigeria. The Commissioner said This while speaking at the Outward Selling Mission program in Lagos State. Maro said Nigeria leverages South Africa's strategic geographic location as a hub to distribute oil and other products across the Southern African region, including Botswana, Mozambique, and Lesotho. According to Bob Murray, he also said the event aims is to revitalize economic ties, resuscitate existing markets, and explore new areas of collaboration. Mr. Moreau also emphasized that beyond oil, there are wide-ranging opportunities for cooperation, including road rehabilitation, housing construction, and technology exchange. Now back again to business news. Aliko Dangote has now sealed a $2.5 billion partnership with the Ethiopian government to build one of the world's largest single-site fertilizer plants in Gode, Somali regional state. The landmark deal was signed yesterday between Dangote Group and Ethiopian Investment Holdings, which is the government's strategic investment arm. Under the agreement, Dangote Group will now hold 60% equity while Ethiopia will retain 40%. Ethiopian government in its statement explains that the facility would rank among the world's top 5 largest urea production complexes with a combined capacity of up to 3 million metric tons per annum. Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Dr. Brooke Tai said this landmark agreement with Dangote Group marks a significant milestone in Ethiopia's journey toward industrial self-sufficiency and agricultural modernization. As the strategic investment arm of government of Ethiopia, EIH is proud to secure a 40% stake in what will be one of the world's largest urea production facilities. And now let's quickly move away from that news now to another good clearing activities, as Nigeria's seaports have been paused on a large scale in the past 2 weeks, leaving over 5,000 cargoes trapped. The port users claim to have lost an estimated 2 trillion naira in demurrage. The persistent disruption of port activities is caused by the persistent network glitches on the Nigeria Customs Service (BODOGU) digital platform, which has left manufacturers and other merchants to incur a huge loss, coupled with the reintroduction of the 4% free on board. The effective cost of clearing manufacturers have lamented has risen by about 200%. They are also worried that much of the stock raw materials might not be useful when they are eventually released. And now let's move to figures about this news story. A 40-foot container attracts a daily demurrage of between 120,000 naira and 140,000 naira, while a 20-foot container costs about 80,000 naira daily. Also, demurrage for a car is 10,000 naira, while a truck attracts 35,000 naira. A caterpillar is charged 45,000 naira as demurrage. This increase after the initial grace period. However, findings are at this yesterday while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the state executive Council. Ikeowu Omebe stated that the increment was aimed at enhancing workers' welfare, adding that it took effect immediately and applied to all categories of the workforce. Meanwhile, in between Mr. Ikeowu Omebe's statement, he said that if the verification process for retirees in the local government areas had commenced, and when completed, and the payment will be made. Also, he said that if the government did not play politics with such huge financial obligations, it will not do so with an additional 20,000 naira to workers. And now let's move away from Ebonyi State now to another news story about the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Anakin Lokpobiri, as the minister put on hold approval for the extension of over 50 expired oil licenses. The minister stated that over 60 licenses were awarded in a marginal bid round that took place a few years ago. Speaking recently at the Pen-Gasson Energy and Labour Summit in Abuja, the oil minister said the licenses are currently on his table, seeking extensions. The minister said one of the ways Nigeria can increase the volume is for those license holders to produce, stating that the country needs every available well to produce daily to meet both local and international demands. And according to him, renewing the licenses is like improving the holders who, he said, go. Now, lastly, before we go, let's talk about the Lagos State House of Assembly, as it is on the verge of a major transformation for the state energy sector at a public hearing held about yesterday for the proposed Ibile Energy Corporation Law, a bill designed to expand Lagos' involvement in oil, gas, and renewable energy ventures, was moved for debate. If passed, the new law would replace the Ibile Oil and Gas Law of 2015 and create the Ibile Energy Corporation. This new body would have the authority to invest across the entire energy value chain, from oil and gas exploration and production to the development of modern clean energy solutions such as electric vehicle charging stations. The primary goal of the bill is to empower Lagos to meet its growing energy demands by actively participating in all facets of the energy market, both within Nigeria and internationally. And according to the draft legislation, the Ibile Energy Corporation will operate as a corporate body with the power to conduct businesses with their own properties and enter legal agreements. Thank you so much for joining us on the news this morning on ConsumerHallaTV. And you've just watched the news. Stay connected for more fresh updates as we go through the day. I'm Kikelomo Ajibola. Continue to stay connected to ConsumerHallaTV.
Going to do, I was trying to compare that experience to what would have happened in Nigeria. In my presence there, you opened the pack, there was a card inside it. Inside that card was a call, number to call, and they called the shop or wherever he got the thing from. I was hearing the conversation that was going on, and all he said to them on the phone was, look at by the time he even called, clearly, because they already, through the call, they could trace where it was calling from and who was calling. He said, yeah, I pick up this number, I pick up this iron yesterday, and guess what? I just plug it to power, and then this thing just, stop, didn't work. At the other hand, I could hear the voice, oh, we're so sorry. We're sorry about that. And they said, this is your address, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get you a replacement. All right. So my friend handed the call and dropped the. So I said, so what's going to happen? He said, don't worry yourself now. Should we're here. They will bring a replacement. I said, they will bring a replacement. He said, yes. I said, they won't even try to check whether it was your fault, because it could have been your fault. Maybe you didn't do something well about the first. No, it can't be his fault. Now, it's a brand new item that he bought. While we were still talking, in fact, I'm not even sure it was up to 30 minutes or so. We had a knock on the door. He himself said he must be the dispatch person. By the time he opened the door, it was a dispatch man that was on the other side. And then the dispatch man was at the door. Just watch this. Was at the door. I was seated in the sitting room. The guy was at the door to meet with the dispatch guy. The dispatch man that brought the replacement iron, I heard him say, we're so sorry. So I was so shocked. I mean, a dispatch man, this guy is a dispatch, so also apologize. I was so touched by that. Even a dispatch man was so trained, to tell the guy, we are so sorry. And guess what? He brought the replacement iron. By the time my guy opened the iron, it was a bigger size iron. So they replaced with a bigger size iron. The guy never asked for the one that went bad. He didn't say, okay, where is the other one that we gave to you, so that he could take it back. No, he just bought a new one and gave it back. So I asked my friend, I said, can you interpret this to me? He said, here in London, if they didn't do this, they know the next thing I would do. He said, I'm just going to grab a lawyer and I'm going to tell them they've destroyed something in my house. By the time I'm done, they will pay through their nose, because the consumers are conscious of their rights. In Nigerian consumers, even those who are aware, won't even take the battle up. Everybody just go, what can we do now? Today they wake up and ban this. What can we do now? So we're going to change the narrative. We have to stand up. So the vision of ConsumerHallaTV is really to create an engagement platform that constantly mirrors the minds of consumers and provide right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria. Thus, we believe, will be forming part of that our overall vision, of creating a more caring world of consumers where businesses thrive. So, I think that we'll make our impact. We ask you to join us on this journey. ConsumerHallaTV